So you be on first, which means I am presenting and Marty, or I am running the screen and Marty is.
Okay.
I will. put the agenda up.
20 years working in the private sector before.
And thank you for kicking me when it's your turn. I've been doing this for so many years that I forget that, like,
Whatever it is.
I don't have to know everything anymore. Great, but I forget.
So until she got sucked into some of the admin stuff.
So should we kick it off?
We do have quorum. Who are we missing? Just John.
Mark is going to call in. Mark's on. Okay.
I'm here.
Hey, Mark.
Hi.
And then John's turn. I have not heard from either way.
Now she's trying to justify it, rationalize that.
Hey. So we need to wait for John.
I mean, we can give him a couple minutes.
Okay. We're just waiting for a quorum.
Oh, we have a quorum.
Oh, we do?
Because Mark's online.
Oh, Mark. Okay, right. We're waiting for one more person. What's your dog doing, by the way?
Good.
Yeah. He's getting up there, isn't he?
He's almost 13.
Wow.
And I thought he was going to decline much faster than he is because there was a period in which he was getting slower and more neurotic and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that seems to have plateaued.
Nice. Nice, nice. It's hard when they get older. God.
Just watch that talk about getting older, folks.
Sue, if I have any questions, I'll ask you.
Yeah. Your next meeting, I will be yet another year older.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
What are you, like 45 now, Sue?
Oh, yeah, well, just a little short of double that, yeah. I'll be 84 in
Are
2
you
weeks.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just watch it, yeah.
Congratulations. Well, we were talking about dogs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, if you'd like to get started, I can
Okay.
put the
John will come or he
agenda up.
won't. Good evening. Welcome to the South Burlington Development Review Board for May 2nd, 2023. My name is Dawn Philibert. I am chair of the board, and I'd like to introduce the other members of the board who are here tonight. Quinn Mann, John Mascatelli, and on the phone, we have Mark Baer. And we have our city staff with us, our planning and zoning staff, Marty Gillies and Marla Keene. So thank you for being here. This meeting is being recorded. And I would like to remind you, if you're here in person, to sign up at the sign-up sheet out back. If you're joining us virtually, please, in the chat room, provide your contact information. And if you're on the phone, please send an email to Marla Keene at mkeene@southburlingtonvt.gov. And by signing up, it indicates there's a documentation that you were present and a participant in case you wish to take any future action. Okay, let's start with the agenda and start with the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency, there are doors in the two back corners of the auditorium. You would simply exit those doors and either turn right or left to get outside of the building. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda for tonight?
None.
Good. Are there any announcements or reminders?
I guess I should announce that we are doing our annual volunteer search. So if you go on our website, you can see what committees have vacancies or have positions that are up for reappointment. So if you would like to be a member of this or any other committee, please submit your application online and you will be interviewed for consideration. Just to let you know, the positions are advertised when someone's term is up, regardless of whether they are reapplying or not. So if you see that there are 2 positions open in a committee, it doesn't mean that, we have a bunch of people running and screaming. It just means that 2 people's terms are up.
Thank you, Rhonda. Anything else?
Nope.
Are there any comments or questions from the public that are not specifically related to an agenda item? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move to review of projects. Item number 5 on the agenda. This is site plan application SP 2312 of the University of Vermont to amend a previously approved plan for a research and education facility. The amendment consists of adding outdoor storage as a use and associated site improvements at 705 Spear Street. Who is here for the applicant? Hi. Excuse me for a second. Yes.
Full disclosure for this application.
Can you turn your mic on?
Thank you. Full disclosure on this application, my wife works at UVMMC
Okay.
and holds a faculty appointment at the college as well.
Okay.
I do not think this will impact my ability to.
I don't think so,
read
but
that,
thank you
but-
for the disclosure anyways. Thanks. Any other disclosures or recusals? Welcome.
Lonnie, is the bright green light on that microphone?
Light on?
There
There
it
we go.
goes.
Now it's brighter.
Great.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lonnie Raven. I'm Associate Planner for the University of Vermont at the Planning, Design, and Construction Department. With me today is David Blatchley, Associate Director, Planning, Design, and Construction, and Project Manager for this project, and Derek Reed, Civil Engineer with Krebs and Lansing Engineers, and UVM's Consultant Stormwater Engineer.
Okay. Is it Derek or Eric?
Derek.
Thank you. Thank you. What I'd like to do is start by swearing you in.
Okay.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. So this, you've seen the staff reports. So this review is a little different than the way we often go about projects because it's expected to be so abbreviated that Marty has already drafted, with some areas still to be filled in, findings of fact and conclusions for us to review. So what I'd like to suggest, Lonnie, is if you could please just give us a little overview of what you're doing and why you're asking to do this. And then I think we should move ahead with the identified 3 issues that that are kind of left open for discussion in the findings.
Okay, I just want to note that the university has seen and read the staff comments and the draft decision, and we'd like to note that we agree to the draft decision and all the conditions.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Just to give a small, quick overview of the project, in the past few years, the university started construction on a major project that was later had to stop because of COVID. So the disruption included, the work was disrupted. So we did have a series of construction materials that are coming to us despite the fact that we're not quite ready to build yet.
Right.
So in 2020, we received one shipment of large structural steel members, which we could not use right away. And it was not possible to store it on the site on the athletic campus. So we had to find a quick place, and the city was very helpful in helping us acquire another place. So thank you. We haven't been able to start construction yet. Another large portion of the steel has been sitting in the fabricator's yard in Canada since 2020. The university already owns the steel, and the fabricator has asked us to take it. So we've looked for an appropriate site, and what we found is the proposed site, which is just north of 705 Spear Street. It is close to the first storage site, and it does not impinge on another active use right now. So although we have to ask for a permanent permit, we do not intend to permanently store the steel members there. We plan to move it within a few years, and so we plan not to permanently impact the site. We're going to put up, the steel members are going to go on the site, which is avoiding the wetland and anything else that needs to avoid. We're going to put a fence around it, an 8-foot fence with green slats. And there's an existing farm road, which we're going to put gravel on so we can bring the stuff in, and then we're going to take it out again. And when we are able to remove the steel, we will take out the fence and return the site to its existing condition.
Thank you. Any questions, board? I have one question. Could you show me on the map, how close is this to your other storage site?
I don't have control over the map, but the storage site is across Spear Street.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Is it right? Is it this driveway right here?
Okay.
Yes,
All right. That's what I thought. So they're on opposite sides of Spear Street.
still close though, yes.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Let's move through the three issues that are, as of today, not resolved. And one is the proposed site restoration plan. And I know that there were some questions about that. I'm going, Marty, do you want to explain what your questions were about that?
Yeah, so for this one, it's not so much a question, but just more, this was a standard condition that was included in the last approval for the other steel storage site, and that's just a condition that the applicant must obtain a CO at the time of site restoration, so that we are kind of inspecting and approving the built site with the fence and the steel storage, but then also getting eyes on it again as the site is restored to its previous condition.
We agree to that. I don't know if it would help. Would you like us to submit an existing conditions, which is essentially the restoration plan, like an additional plan to clarify that?
I don't mind. I guess that's a question for the board.
Well, I don't know, board. What do you think?
Was that something that we had for the previous condition as well? Or is it just the condition is sufficient enough to stand on its own?
I think the answer to both questions is yes. Last time there was a second site plan, but also I think the notes included in their site plan and the second sheet as well with the details are pretty sufficient to give you a pretty good overview of what they're going to be doing as they restore the site.
So you don't think we need it?
I don't think so,
No.
but we could have one.
Well, my sense is that you're on the record. We have it recorded. We've listened. And why create extra work for you?
Excellent. We accept the
I'm in
condition.
agreement, Dawn.
Okay. The second issue is the proposed storage is appurtenant to the primary use of the property. And my sense was that that's kind of been established, but I want to open that up for discussion. Board members? Mark, anyone?
I'm in agreement with that.
Okay, all right. So is that enough?
I think so. Yeah, it was found to be pertinent last time, so
Great,
just want to make sure
Thank
we're
you.
on the same page again.
And-
Yeah, I'm fine with it, Dawn.
thanks, Mark. And the third issue is the proposed screening and buffering, which, as I recall, the pile of steel members won't exceed 7 feet, and they'll be surrounded by a chain link fence with webbing in it.
Correct, of 8 feet. Yeah.
8 feet, okay. Any questions about that? Do you have any need for any more information, Marty?
No, I just wanted to make sure that the board had an opportunity to review the
Okay.
proposed screening to make sure it was adequate.
That makes sense to me. Okay.
Yeah, I think given that it's a temporary use, that is sufficient for this situation.
Great.
Just had one question, actually hinging on that. Somewhere in here, I think it was in the applicant's write-up, it was saying that they have to ask for a permanent permit for this, but they're planning on using it on a temporary basis.
Correct.
Given that it's a permanent permit, and sometimes temporary can become longer term than expected, is there anything that would be required differently or that we would be doing differently if we expected this to be here for 10 years or 15 years? Because it could be,
Sure. The way things go.
if it's a permanent permit.
I can just say that the steel is a valuable commodity, so we would either use it or sell it.
Okay.
And as far as process goes, there is no difference between the way we've reviewed this application and the way we would review an application for a permanent outdoor storage. I guess if you are making your decision on whether the buffering is sufficient based on thinking it's going to be gone in 3 years versus thinking it's going to be gone in 15, that's potentially a difference. But as far as like process goes, there is no difference. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. I'm going to open it up for public comment. Are there any members here or online from the public who would like to comment on this project? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to close this hearing.
I'll move to close the hearing.
Thanks.
I don't know the number.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Okay, all in favor of closing the hearing, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, the next project. The description is long. This is a sketch plan application SD 2306 of the Snyder Braverman Development Company LLC to subdivide an existing 5.86 acre lot developed with a stormwater treatment pond into 3 lots of 3.71 acres, lot N1, 1.79 acres, lot N2, and 0.36 acres, Lot 3, for the purpose of developing 3 mixed-use buildings containing a total of 213 residential units and 27,000 square feet of non-residential space on Lot N1 and future City Street on N3 to be reviewed under separate administrative site plan application at 225 Market Street and 267 Market Street and 113 Garden Street. Who is here for the applicant?
This is Ken Braverman with Snyder Braverman, and I'm being joined with Andy Rowe, who's our engineer,
Okay.
and a representative of the landowner, South Burlington Realty, is Tim McKenzie. He's also here this evening.
Thank you. This is a sketch plan, so there's no need to swear you in. So why don't we proceed by having you give us just a very brief overview. Of course, we've all read the staff report.
Great.
But if you could give us a little overview of the project,
Great.
that would be helpful.
Thank you for the time this evening. Look forward to discussing the project. As mentioned, this is a 3-lot subdivision of a 5.86 acre property that's located diagonally across the street from where we are this evening. The purpose of the subdivision is to create the 3 lots, and the lots are configured as following. Lot N3 is being created for the purpose of creating a future public street. And as you see on the plan shown on the screen, That's a planned connection of the extension of School Street as depicted on the city's official map. So that would be a 60-foot right-of-way that would be a future street that will be providing an irrevocable offer of dedication to the city. So at a time where the city's prepared to take ownership of that street, the lot will be created and ready to go. The other lot, N2, is a 1.79 acre lot, and that is a lot that's going to contain the existing stormwater treatment improvements that were constructed several years ago. And that picks up water not only from the proposed development, but some of the surrounding areas as well. And that lot will be held in common ownership. Lot N1 is a 3.71 acre lot, and that is a lot that will be the development lot for a proposed application that's currently being reviewed by city staff.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Any questions from the board at this point before we go through the staff comments? Okay.
No.
First comment I'm going to read. Staff recommends the board direct the applicant to incorporate the comments of the Community Development Director, the Director of Public Works, and the Stormwater section into the next submission for this property. What's your response to that?
No problem.
Okay, good. Let's move ahead. Comment number 2, I'm going to read this one too. Staff recommends the board direct the applicant to provide the draft language for all proposed easements as part of the final plat application.
No problem.
Okay, great. And then this last one, I'm going to ask Marla to summarize because I read it 2 times and I'm like, what? It's a little convoluted, but she knows what it means and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so this was a little tricky, actually. The subdivision, well, back in 2020, the standards for subdivision and the standards for site plan sort of were woven together a little more closely, and in the 22 amendment to the LDR, there was an attempt made to break out standards related to setting up a site for successful development from which under subdivision, and the standards that apply to actual design of a site under site plan. Because this is a separate subdivision and site plan application, and this could happen anywhere, this is not just a form-based code situation. Like in Meadowlands or in Tech Park, they like to subdivide and do site plans separately. There are some of the subdivision standards which are difficult to determine whether they comply without a concept of how the site could be developed. As Ken said, they've already submitted their site plan application. So if that site plan is approved, which we're working very hard on, and then we already have proof of concept that this subdivision is viable. So what this comment is saying is that if we get that site plan approval either complete or nearly complete before they come to you for subdivision, then it sort of obviates the need to demonstrate proof of concept of the subdivision.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, more so than the written description did.
So the idea is, the recommendation here is to get the site plan pretty far along before they come in for final plat.
Okay.
And that doesn't preclude them submitting, but it might, we might have some negotiations with them
Okay.
outside of a hearing
Okay.
on when we choose to schedule that.
So I guess the first question is, can you live with that?
This is I was thinking about this on the drive-in. This is our fourth subdivision in the form-based code district. So we're accustomed to this exercise because it's been that way really from the beginning. So to answer your question, no, we have no problem with that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And is there anything that you need the board to ask or find out about? That's probably redundant. Or is there agreement that this makes sense as a way to proceed enough?
I think it was more just have a conversation about what this site, no, this, I don't want to use the word site because that implies like the site. This project, this property is how it's going to proceed through the review process. And I wanted to kind of have a conversation about what that might
Okay.
look like. Just for your information, I expect to have our initial comments on the site plan to you guys tomorrow.
Great.
So if that helps inform, I know Andy had, and I'm not holding you to anything, but you had said that you had hoped to submit your final plat application by the end of this week. So hopefully those two things work out. What do you think you want to do? Do you want to get through site plan before hearing the final plat hearing, or do you want to do the final plat hearing before site plan?
I think as you had suggested, it makes sense to be pretty far along in that site plan review process
Okay.
before we come back before the board. But
Okay.
on the other hand, we'd like to get our subdivision application in
Yeah.
so it can get in the queue because we know there's a
It
certain
fills
amount of
up.
lead time there.
Sure. No, I think that makes sense. I think we can, if you get it in, we can hold you a spot, and maybe it's not the next meeting, maybe it's 2 meetings out or something.
Right. But I think we get the application in.
Right.
We work on the form-based code on the separate simultaneous track and hope to be ready to come back before the board at the next meeting or the next meeting after that.
Perfect.
Great.
Questions from the board? No? Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to ask if there are any public comments. Are there any public comments from people? I know no one's in the audience except Tim, and he's part of the deal. On people online or
No.
on phone? No, no comments. Okay. It's sketch, so I think we don't even have to vote to close it, do we?
No?
No. We're good to go.
Great.
Thank
Thank you for the
you so
time.
much.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck. Short night, yeah, this, actually, we made it in 7 minutes, I think, one night, so we're, it is a short night. See you soon.
It makes up for those late evenings, I bet.
Oh, yes.
Hey, Don, what about the minutes?
Oh, yes. Always forget about the minutes. Um,
See, you
When
thought I
my-
wasn't paying attention.
Pardon me?
Bet you thought I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Mark. I was going to ask you questions, so. Do we have both sets of minutes, remind me?
I believe we just have April
11th.
18th.
Oh, the 18th, okay.
Sue got me April 11th about an hour after I
Okay.
posted the packet. So,
All right, and it's her birthday month, so we're going to cut her some slack.
that's all right. I'll have it for the next time. We don't
Okay.
need, no slack needed.
All right. Mark, since you brought it up, would you like to make a motion about the April 18th minutes?
Sure, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from 18 April 2023 as drafted. I didn't see any issues. There was just the one. Oh,
And
that was
I'll-
one where we had no one come. That's right.
And I will second that. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Okay. Great. That's the end of the agenda. Now, we have no deliberation, do we?
Would you like to deliberate on UVM? I can lock the meeting and Mark can just stay on for wrapping
Sure.
up that, and then we don't
Sure.
have to deliberate before the meeting next
Sure.
time.